ever taken the time to consume fictional media, you may have stumbled upon common character tropes. And these tropes work because when a character appears on the screen, for example, Vegeta, just from a few sentences and the way he acts, you can already put two and two together that Vegeta is an egotistical crash out who lets his pride get ahead of himself. And in today's video, I will be talking about the most unlikable tropes, regardless on how well written these characters are. And disclaimer, there are some spoilers. The first types of characters we gotta talk about is the gullible characters. Most times when you see gullible characters, they make the best decisions in the beginning of their screen time, and as the progression begins with the story, they become the most hated characters. Krillin is the leader of gullible characters, and as much as I like Krillin myself, why does Krillin get the best when he deserves the worst? One major event that made Krillin the most hated character in Dragon Ball, and probably more hated than when Goku always gives a sensu beat to his villains, which when he was given a controller, which would cause Android 18 to explode, so Cell wouldn't absorb her. Let me tell you what this bald-headed dwarf did. Instead of going through the plan of saving the universe, he falls victim to the genjutsu trap of having a crush on a girl who has no types of feelings towards you. So instead of this imbecile saving the universe, he decides screw it and destroys the device that could literally save the universe. And people wonder why gullible characters like this always get hate. It's because at one point they were on top of the ball game and pretty much were the best side characters to the main, and out of nowhere they completely do the opposite over the dumbest reasons. Think about it, Krillin chose an android over saving the world, and let it be known, the writers know exactly what they're doing with these characters, and purposely do it this way to annoy us. We then have the misunderstood character. When it comes to fictional media, misunderstood characters appear like the pink and orange starburst, too consistently. But let's be honest, those are the best flavors. And with misunderstood characters, it's always a debate up for something, because these characters can always feel like the hero to the storyline, when in reality, they're nothing but the same villains who want to see the world burn. One of the most notable misunderstood characters is Eren Yeager. He started off as a kid already born to a world that hates his kind, from his mother being eaten by a titan to finding out the reason why all this is happening is because of a nation across the sea. And most acceptable, he pulled up on their block and started crashing out. But what sucks about seeing these types of character progressions is the instant switch from them being good to making the character purposely more hated for their actions. Arguably, it's great character writing, but we have seen this plenty and plenty of times in other animes. So much so that it's an instant turnoff to wanting to even follow the story anymore, and better to sit there and watch the action. And I always dislike this character trope just for the simple fact on how different it could be depending on the character. But in the end, it always leads to the same path. And sometimes it could be the complete opposite, where it's always a villain being downright evil, and next thing you know what, they're helping the main cast, knowing that they should have been packed up a long time ago. It reminds me of a specific person from Dragon Ball. It makes it even more annoying the fact that the writer can pretty much just throw away the original script of the character and start having the characters doing the most over dramatic things ever. Another trope we have to talk about is the comic relief, aka the girls who always slaps the main character or other group members for either something serious or, you know, fan service. This is probably the most unlikable trope when it comes to fiction, especially anime in itself. As long as there's a girl in the group, they always have the same writing as the other girl from the last anime. I mean, at this point, it's a game on seeing what's more predictable than original. And sadly, when it comes to fiction, majority of female characters are written exactly with this trope. But just for the sake of the video, we're going to talk about Nami and Sakura for examples. When it comes to main characters like Luffy and Naruto, it always seems like whenever they do something wrong, these two specific girls in the group always have to be the ones to confront them about it and give them an over dramatic cartoon beating for it. And to be honest, it can be understandable until it becomes repetitive. And the only reason why these specific girl characters are interesting is, well, because you already know. And speaking of fan service, let's not forget about the male characters also when it comes to being the comic relief. Oh look, Sanji's staring at Nami's watermelons. Nosebleed. Well, there's plenty of more of that also in other animes. Look, there is nothing wrong with comic relief characters and just fan service as a whole, but I think everyone can all agree that using it as a gotcha point just to keep the show interesting is not a good look. Fire Force falls victim to this, where the show actually does have some cool and amazing moments, but the fan service is so repetitive that each and every episode you're almost forgetting that you're watching an anime. Honorable mentions, we have to talk about the trash character. When you see a trash character appear on the screen, you instantly want to sigh and smash your head into a wall. And trash characters can span from a whole bunch. punch, like Rachel from the Tower of God, Deku from My Hero Academia, or Gabby from Attack on Titan. And what makes these characters trash is the fact that they are so small of a character. Next thing you know, they're the ones affecting the story and how it plays. For example, FaZe Gabby changing the story by killing people, saving people, and now she's affecting the main character by literally no-scoping him. Regardless, these are the worst types of character tropes, and I can guarantee you, whichever fictional show that you're watching, you're always going to see a character following these tropes. With that being said, stay tuned for the next video. As always, it's Josh signing off.